In this video, we're going to talk about profile section folders. We're going to show when being made, and we're going to show um, some details in regards to naming them in the order in which they appear on the listing pages. So as we were talking about earlier, like a regular Omni CMS directory, it of course spreads out each directory on the whole off of the home tab will lead to a large sort of division of WSU. And from there, it expands out into different department folders. Everything nests in everything else, and everything branches outward. And as we've seen in the profile section, we very much mirror the same sort of structure. Profiles has basically the same folders. And if I was going to the MRC, I would click services. We have all the teams that are under services. I go to Media Resources Center. And in there, we have, of course, the different teams that make up the MRC, different departments and such. So if need be, we can create profile section folders that would come off of our departments or teams to do the same thing if we need to specify different teams and so on and so forth. So let's say that I wanted to create a document accessibility subdepartment underneath web services here. We're in the Media Resources Center. I'm going to come down to web services and select it. Okay. And in here, we have the profiles for Mike and myself and the index, which of course is the listing page for it. We'll get into Navinx into it in a bit of a different video soon. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select new, and I'm going to pick the drop down, profile listing, profile section, new profile. So in this case, what we're wanting is new profile section. I'm going to select that. And you're going to see that actually, this is pretty much the exact same pop-up that you would get if you were creating a new section folder for the regular Omni CMS website. No real difference. The folder name, in this case, we're doing document accessibility. I could call this document underscore accessibility. And directory name that will be visible. No special characters or spaces, just like normal. This is going to be the file name of the folder. The section title, I'll call it document accessibility team, using spaces and caps and whatnot. The page title, I'll call it the same thing. Document accessibility team. And if I wanted, I could have description and tags, so on and so forth. But if we look through this, you'll notice that there's absolutely nothing different from the profile section folder when you're creating it to a normal section folder in Omni CMS. I'm going to go ahead and create. It's going to create that folder. And it's also going to send us in the folder. And just like it does in Omni CMS when we create a folder, it's going to automatically create the listing page. If I back out one step here, I can see that it is the index.pcf. And like we were saying earlier, if you're in the profiles directory, the index.pcf is the profile listing page for that directory. So I'll click on that. And I'll go ahead and publish it. Initial creation. And live, of course, it has nothing in it right now. But for this specific team, what we would do is come in here and create new profile for each of the people and populate them up, and they would begin showing on this listing page. So continuing on from our last point, in the web services directory in profiles, I have document accessibility team, which I placed in there. And if I go in there now, I've added a couple more folders. For one thing, I've got my own profile in here, and I've added two section profile folders, profile section folders, PDF accessibility with an underscore and Word accessibility with an underscore, all lower cap letters. So let's take a look real quick at the index page, which is our listing page, to see what this looks like. Okay, So you can see my profile is not in either folder, it's outside of it. So like we saw with the Media Resources Center with John Jones's profile, it appears outside like so in the general directory. And in PDF accessibility, I've placed Eric McCall. In Word accessibility for the moment, I got Tessa Downs. So we have sample profiles in there. So first of all, I want you to look here, particularly with these two, because we've seen the folders over here. PDF accessibility and Word accessibility. So one thing to know when you create a section, a profile section folder, is that on the page itself, it's going to eliminate the underscore character. So it's going to be Word and Word. Second thing to remember is each word is going to be capitalized. So P in the PDF and A in accessibility, W in Word, A in accessibility. So if we look here, we've got capitalization right there, and a space. Capitalization, capitalization, and space. That's fine. Now, in the case of PDF accessibility, this isn't actually sort of correct. It should be all caps there, PDF accessibility. So if we want to have that sort of acronym type structure, and it does happen, for example, MRC. MRC is an acronym for Media Resources Center. If I were to have just MRC here, just like this, it would display it with a capital M, lowercase r and c, and that wouldn't be correct. So we want PDF to be capitalized here. So what I'm going to do is come back over to my folder. I'm going to go to my More Actions icon on the far right side because I need to rename it. Click File, Rename, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make the letters PDF all capital. Click Outside, it renames the folder. Okay, so we've renamed PDF accessibility. And we can see when I refresh the listing page live on the internet, it switches it to all caps, PDF accessibility. So that's how that would be handled. So a couple things to keep in mind when it comes to sort of changing the names. By default, it's going to place the folders in the listing page in alphabetical order. So P occurs before W. Now, if this was a situation where, say, Word was all capitalized and PDF wasn't, we can go back and demonstrate this. I'll just rename this the way it was. PDF. Okay, so we've renamed the name back to all lowercase PDF, which on the page will be reflected as such again. Capital P, lowercase d and f. So let's say that I make the word Word fully capitalized, like we would PDF. I'm going to come down to Word, rename, and I'm going to change it like that, right? Okay, our folder has been renamed to Word Accessibility. If I go over to the live page again and I refresh it, you will see that Word Accessibility occurs higher in the list than PDF accessibility. If it's in alphabetical order, why would that happen? It's because the system will prioritize capitalized letters after the first letter over non-capitalized. So if we have Word here, W-O-R-D, and PDF accessibility like this with the lower D and lower F, it's going to bump the all cap word on top of the other. So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking for a specific order as you're working with this. So let's go in and switch these back to proper with all caps PDF and Word as a regular word. Okay, I'll come and rename PDF. And I will go in and change Word back to just standard lowercase letters. Okay. And if we look here, we can see that the order is back the way we wanted it. We can also set the order that the sections or the departments will appear on the listing page through assigning a numeric value to each one. So let's say in this case, we actually would want Word accessibility for some reason to appear before PDF accessibility, despite the fact that the alphabetical order has them in the opposite order. So what we'll do is we'll come over here in our folder and we're going to assign the numeric value to the file name. So in the case of PDF accessibility and Word accessibility, we want Word to be the first and PDF to be the second. So we're going to alter the file name. On Word accessibility, I'm going to rename and I'm going to put a 01 and underscore at the beginning of the file name. Okay, we've renamed both of the folders here. And I'm going to look over here. Remember, we had PDF accessibility and Word accessibility. This first is second. We've added our numbers to the beginning. So I'm going to refresh this page. And now we have Word accessibility over PDF accessibility. So if you need to do a custom order for the folders, you totally can. All you have to do is zero the number of the placement you want it on the page, an underscore before the actual words in the name.